definition, restatement, contrast, inference, and punctuation. These were your 5 context clues from last week. This week, we're going to continue that conversation. Let's dig into definition, those defining moments. And normally we talked about the fact that they happen after failure, because it is that moment when you have to go back and redefine the context of who you are. It's basically a time where you have to go back and regather yourself to understand your why. Here's what I would like to submit to you today, is that your defining moments are going to happen after or beyond your enthusiasm. Emerson wrote that nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. And enthusiasm is just that strong feeling of excitement. It's that moment when you're starting, you're getting ready to go, and you are fired up. So what then do we do in those moments where enthusiasm is not enough? Or we find ourselves in situations where our enthusiasm begins to die down. The very thing that we were fired up about, we now begin to question and doubt. I'm gonna help you figure it out. I'm gonna give you 3 tools to put in your toolbox. So that way, when it's time for you to define your context, your purpose, your reason why, you're gonna be able to go back and count on these 3 things and remember your why. Number 1, and this is one of my favorites. You've heard me say it many times. Failure is not your finisher. A lot of times we make the mistake of treating failure like a person and not like an event. You don't owe failure anything. You don't owe it an explanation. You don't owe it more time. All you have to do is understand that it happened, it's over, and you need to keep moving forward. Stop taking it around with you everywhere you go. It's in the past, it's done. It's not a person, it is an event. So failure is not your finisher. Number 2, that was a comma and not a period. A comma simply represents a transition from one statement or phrase to the next. Many of you are quitting in situations where you were simply called to pause. It's a comma. It gives you a chance to make a transition. It was not a period. It doesn't mean stop. So stop taking the commas in your life and making them periods. Stop quitting when you were simply called to pause and make a transition. Another one of my favorite parts when it comes to definition as a context clue is the use of words and phrases, such as that is, or in other words. His fortitude, that is his courage in times of pain and adversity. In other words, he didn't know the meaning of quit. He was determined to see it through and obtain his goals. The use of these key phrases can help you in times where you simply may find yourself troubled or stuck or not knowing the next transition to take. This is where we go from appreciation of this message to application of this message. So step 1, you have to ask yourself, how are you treating your failures? Are they an event? Do they happen and then you continue to push and move forward towards your goals? Or are you treating them like a person, spending extra time with them, giving them explanation, carrying them around or taking them with you wherever you go? Remember, failure is an event. It is not a person. Number 2, are you recognizing the difference between the commas and the periods in your life? Are you pausing or are you quitting? Are you pausing or are you stopping? Do you understand and recognize that the pause is the point where you make a transition and then you continue in the direction of your goals? And number 3, take time to understand the what and the why of your context. In other words, learn yourself better. That will help you continue your journey to conquer change, because that's what this is about. It is about being the best version of yourself and making a movement towards your purpose, your goals, and your why on a daily basis. I want you to tune in next week as we focus on restatement. We're going to continue in this series of context clues. So let's go. Let's get after it. Let's continue to conquer change.